Hey, what's going on? This is Coach A with Thompson Lee Basketball Training, and I'd like to welcome everybody to Verbal Dish. October 8th, we're having our first ever 3-on-3 skills tournament. Children can get more experience, we get more fundamentals, and they get more time to play. So be sure to check out www.teb-training.com for more information. So I want to see y'all there, man. See y'all in October. And yeah, man, we want to talk about high school sports. And yes, of course, high school sports in Mississippi don't get a lot of play. So we definitely want to talk about a couple of them while the offseason going on. Some things they're losing, some things they're gaining, and just some of the teams that I think that has a better chance of going to the ship this year. So we're going to start at 7A right now. First with Clinton. Clinton got a lot of good things going on. Last year they was 24-8. They was fourth in their conference with 8-6 record in the division. In the ranking Mississippi, they're 13 in the state. Now, looking at some of the things that Clinton got going on right now, they're losing 5 seniors. And I think the 5 seniors were pretty much the firepower of Clinton. You got Kari Hamilton, Cameron Wilkes, Jacoby Cavett, Trey Alexander, and Sam Thompson. And also Nehemiah Jones. One of these guys might not be a senior, but I've seen that these guys, and while watching the highlights of Clinton, these guys were the names that always popped up, and these guys are seniors. So these are some of the high power threats that Clinton did have, and they're losing and they're leaving next year. But on the upside, Clinton does have 7 players coming back, which can be their core. They got 4 sophomores coming back and 3 juniors. But just watching Clinton, how they play, and they're a team, they're a well-rounded team. I've seen versus competition, they do step up to the ball and play versus competition. Some things they can work on, like their rebounding, and sometimes their shooting is a little streaky, which is all teams, but just in this case, there was kind of a lot of streaky play. Watching the game versus Raymond, Clinton was 32%, Raymond was 48%. From the free throw line, Clinton was 71% and Raymond was 56%. So they are a good free throw shooting team. They don't get to the paint as much versus certain competition, but they will get to the paint, just like they played Germantown. When they played Germantown, they had 49% in the paint. Germantown had 33%, which means that they do get to the paint. They do score inside the paint. You don't want to see too many teams shoot that 3 ball too often. You do want to see a good repertoire of game. But I think that Clinton has a good chance to get back to the playoffs, but I don't think they're getting nowhere past either first or second round. I don't see Clinton getting past first or second round this year. Some notable games in their district that they did win was Germantown, Madison Central, Merle, Tupelo. They played Starkville twice and didn't beat them. I think that with their Division 2, they have to beat Starkville at least once. At least once to set some type of dominance in their division. You got to beat Starkville at least once. You got to close out on Madison Central, and you at least got to close out with Germantown. You at least got to win 3 to 4. At least 3 to 4 both, because the more games they have, the biggest games that they have is Madison Central and Germantown. You got to win at least 3 to 4 of those to at least get some dominance and beat Starkville once. Because I see that Starkville is a powerhouse. So, Clinton has a good chance to get back to the ship, but I don't see him getting past nowhere near the first or second round. Yep. All right, next, I got Brandon. Now, I don't know about everybody else, but I got a strong feeling about Brandon. I have a real strong feeling about Brandon. Last year, Brandon was 18-12. They was third in their conference, 7-4. They're ranked number 29 in the state. Some of the key games that they had, they beat Petal once, lost to him once. They beat Pearl once, lost to him once. beat Northwest Rankin twice, beat Oak Grove twice, and they also beat Meridian. But they lost twice to Meridian. But a win versus Meridian does say something because Meridian is a good team. But to beat Meridian, that's a good thing right there. Brandon does have a lot of seniors leaving. I think they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's like 6 seniors leaving. Like their big defensive paint beast, Otis Harrison. They got another senior leaving. There's another paint beast, Nate White. And Corey Taylor, another threat on the wing and on the perimeter as well. They got some key guys leaving, but they have their number one guy staying there, which is Braylon Barnes. Watching that guy play, he is special. He is special, man. And I can't wait to see him next year because I think that on his shoulders and the team that Brandon has a good chance of winning the whole thing next year in their division. I really believe that. They got 6 seniors leaving, but they got a big core coming back. I'm talking about they got a big core coming back. And watching their game, watching their team, they're a big rebounding team. So they get to the paint a lot, but they're a big rebounding team. The biggest game they had was against Meridian. They out-rebound Meridian on their win 47-26. Also shooting 46% in the paint and 30% behind 3. So Brandon can give you some strong games and a lot of firepower. And with the size they had last year, and they probably will have size this year again too, they're going to be a dominant team to play against. Now versus Clinton, they was 45% in the paint. Clinton was only 24. They was 24% behind the 3-point line. Clinton was 27. They was 37% behind the free throw line. Clinton was only 46. And Clinton is a good free throw shooting team, but I think Brandon got the type of team that they can really beat you down over time. I really think they can beat you down over time because of their size. Now, the only thing I say about Brandon that I think that might be a problem for him is that I really didn't see a 3-point threat. Like, I really didn't see anybody that can really shoot the ball behind the 3-point line, because when they play teams like Vicksburg, which I know that when they play Vicksburg, that should be a win, but they only shoot versus Vicksburg like 7% behind the 3-point line, but 43% in the paint, which is their stamp. Their stamp is getting in the paint. I don't think it'll serve much difference. Like, I don't think that it'll be a tough thing for Brandon, but I do think that if they do have a 3-point threat, it'll add another dimension. Because not only are they already scoring in the paint, they'll be able to stretch their floor, and that'll be tough for any team to defend. So I think Brandon really has a chance to win the whole thing next year. I believe so because all they need is a 3-point threat. That's all they need. They don't need anything else. They just need a 3-point threat. So yeah, I think Brandon got what it takes to take it all the way to the top. All right, next on my 7A list is Germantown. Germantown, to me, really slipped through the crack because they just had enough pieces just to do what they needed to do. But I believe Germantown will give people a run for your money because their bigs are amazing. Last year, Germantown was 14-17. They was third in the conference at 7-5. Their big guy, Sam Funchins, who's a sophomore this year, is going to be a junior this year. I meant to say sophomore last year, but he's going to be a junior this year. Sam Funchins is going to be the man that holds the steering wheel for him this year. I like Sam's game. He's a stretch big. He can run the floor well. He can shoot the 3 ball. He also can control the paint, and he can score in the paint. So he's a big threat. He's a big threat for every team because you got to keep a body on him. They also got some good guards. I like the guard Joseph Anthony, who's also a sophomore. Joseph Anthony is a nice 3-and-D player. I'm talking about perimeter defense, top 10. Perimeter defense, top 10. Little streak on the 3 ball. He's a little streak on the 3 ball, but when he's hot, He's on fire. Devin Moore. Devin Moore, when I watched him play, he is more of a Tyrese Maxey type of guy. He gets in that open lane, he gets in that open floor, and he's electric. He's also another sophomore. They got a junior, Mr. Baldwin, Keewan Baldwin. Another stretch, another guy that can really play the perimeter. Now, Germantown defense is a defensive team. Their defense turns into offense super fast, which is very unique for them because that's really the heart and soul of their whole game. Their defense turns into offense. And once they get into the offense, they got guys and they got pieces to seize on every opportunity and get back on defense. So I really like what they can do. Versus Starkville, they was only 25% in the paint, but only 31% for Starkville in the paint. Germantown's biggest thing is they rely heavily on the three-point ball. Even though they can score in the paint, their game is mostly heavy shooting the outside ball. And it's kind of a unique twist because their defense gets into their offense and then they have a three-point element, which kind of, is kind of a unique situation to me, but I like it because it's hard to defend because you never know because it's kind of unpredictable. But on one end is a blessing, on the other end it's kind of a curse. Versus competition, when they played Ridgeland, there was 26%. There was 26% everything inside the paint. Ridgeland was 47%. There was 10% from the three-point line. Ridgeland was 44%. But there was 85% from the free throw line. But Ridgeland was only 79%. That's really not a good showing versus their inner city rival right there. You got to beat your rival. You got to beat your rival. You got to beat them if you want to send a clear message. You know what I'm saying? You got to send a clear message. When they played Starksville, versus competition, it was kind of tick for tat in the field goal range. 25% for Germantown, 31% for Starksville. Free throw line, there was 67%. Starksville was only 50%. Behind the three-point line, there was 33%. Starksville was only 40%. I don't know. I think Starkville's being such a powerhouse team and Germantown being such a team where they can really just play defense and they do have size. It kind of throws you off a little bit, but I like what they're going. Now Germantown can get hot. They can get hot. When they played Clinton, they was 50% inside the paint, 20% at the 3-point line, and only 56% behind the free throw. I think in high school, the average behind the 3-point line should be somewhere between 20 and 27%. I don't expect like 30, 40, 50% behind the 3-point line in high school. I know they're going to shoot them a lot, but I don't think they're going to be going that high in the percentage. And they do get hot behind the 3-point line. When they play Cleveland Central, they went 50%. Germantown has decent wing defenders. Athletic bigs that can run the floor. I see them getting to the third round again. I don't a push or a good performance from either one of their players can easily get them back to the championship game or to the championship game. I like Germantown guy, but I see them no higher than the third round. I see Germantown no higher than the third round, but I do see them being a contender this year coming up. And last but not least, we got the champions of last year's 7A division, Meridian. And just to be clear, Meridian is as good as advertised. They was number one in the conference at 8-3. They was 24-9. And Meridian's whole thing is they want to get the ball to the open floor and to the wing. They want to get the ball to the open floor. They want to run their transition. They want to get behind the 3-point line. They want to shoot. They want to run. They want to run and shoot. and they shoot the ball extremely well. Their biggest X factor is Joe Horn. I like him. He's kind of like a Kenyon Martin type of player. He like roams the paint a little bit. He's getting steals. He's making blocks. He's a dangerous guy. To me, he's a real dangerous guy. Especially when Meridian is hot, good, and rolling. There's something to deal with. I was trying to see about the seniors and juniors and stuff, but I didn't get good information on it. But I did get some key names. William Davison, another good guard. Jordan Jones. I like that. I like his game. Adrian Davis, Jordan Harbor, Stephen McKellen, DJ Johnson, Amir. I think his last name. They are a fast team. They are a fast team. There's a reason, and I after watching them play, I see why they won. They are a fast team. They're gonna get out and shoot. They're gonna go out and do their thing. Playing versus competition versus Raymond. They're a small team. The only downfall about Meridian is that they are a small team. When they played Raymond had 14 blocks against them. Now, I don't know if that's because Meridian loves to try to get to the paint or whatever, but 14 blocks is just, it's like hitting your head against a brick wall almost. Like, man, you gotta change that up. They wasn't good behind the three-point line in this game, which was probably why they ended up getting those 14 blocks. They wasn't good behind the three-point line, shooting on the 18% to 26% of Raymond. They were only 30% inside the three-point line, on the 32% to Raymond. Raymond shot the better free throw average of 61 to the 58. So, I mean, they're a fast team. They're a small team, but they're very, very, very fast. Now, they can get to the paint. Versus Columbus, they was 46% in the paint, 23% behind three, 51% behind the free throw line. So, like I said, they can get to the paint. They can get there, but with that size difference, it's going to be hard versus certain teams like, Germantown, Raymond, and Brandon, Clinton. Teams with size, it's going to be kind of tough to play those type of teams, but with the speed that they have, it seems not to be a problem. Some of the key games that they won, Northwest Rankin, they beat them once. Oak Grove, they beat them twice. Pearl, they beat them twice. Pella, they beat them once. And Brandon, they beat them twice. So, like I said, like teams like Brandon. Like I said, Brandon was gonna have size on it, but I guess size doesn't, really matter when you have a lot of speed. But it does matter in some games because you don't want to play those games where everybody has that size, and man, you got to get some size with you. But all in all, what they doing seems to work. They won it last year. And they did it in style with these players here. I think they got a lot of players coming back. I seen some seniors that they have, but I think they got a big core coming back. So I see Meridian win the thing again. I see him winning again. I see him going against Brandon though. This year I see Meridian and Brandon. Yeah, I see that. Championship game for the 7A, I see Meridian and Brandon. I appreciate everybody coming out, checking out Verbal Dish. Next week, we're going to do 2A. We're going to do 2A next week. We're going to go with New State, Bouchetto, and Ngora, who won the whole thing last year, and Bay Springs. And make sure you check out the website, www.teb-training.com. On October 8th, we got a 3-on-3 skills tournament that you want to be a part of. Age range from 9 to 11, one division, and the next division going to be 12 and 14. You tap in on www.teb-training.com for more information. Until the next time, man, let's go get some work, baby.